I don't know if I should do that. I'm probably going to regret it. But I have to say, so far out of the three, this is definitely my favorite. Hey there, Knotty friends. Welcome back to a new video. If you're new here, hi, I'm Chris, aka Knotty Bear. As always, I'm a amigurumi designer, crocheter, and self-titled crafty person extraordinaire. And I put out new videos every single week, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. However, with that said, I have a very exciting week ahead of us. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Cue the music. Is it playing? I hope the music's playing. This would be really embarrassing if the music wasn't playing. Alright, I'm an adult on the internet. So first things first, it is Sunday. I am being a better person this week, and I am starting to film a little bit on Sunday, which you might think is a little bit more work, but at the end of the day, it actually saves me some time, because if I can do the first part and draw the challenge at the beginning of the episode on a Sunday, it gives me the whole week to focus on that while actually getting work done as well, because as much as I love these little challenges, I don't want them to overtake actual work that needs to get done. So we're filming on Sunday. We're going to pick our little challenge thing, which I'll get into in a second. But it was a gorgeous weekend here. It's been sunny and warm. It's kind of like almost going towards summer temperatures, like 25 degrees Celsius here, which is kind of wild. But we took advantage of it. We went to the pumpkin patch yesterday. We went there because it was dog friendly. They had like a corn maze and thing. I'll put some footage here if I have any. What do you want? So we had a good time there, and then today we went to the apple orchard and got some apples. It's a little late in the season, but we got some. Mostly we go for the walk and the pretty colors and everything, so that did not disappoint, so we had a good time there as well. I also crocheted this really adorable mushroom man. Where is he? He's behind me. I'll go get him. I used Hobie's new cotton print yarn. I'll put it somewhere here and in the link as well. And that's what it worked up to be. I used this color here. They have a bunch of different ones. So that was fun. Also, actually, I got that delivery after I ended last video, so maybe I'll put some footage here, or I might have already done it. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and opened it up, and here are all the different colors. I got 3 colors out of, I think it was 6 or 7 choices. I'll put them on the screen somewhere for you. I'm particularly really happy with this like 90s crazy kid color. I really like this a lot. This makes my heart happy. I can't wait to make like a hat or something out of this. That's my favorite. I also really love this kind of pastel version of the multicolor. And then I got this green one because I thought it was a little bit tamer out of the options anyways, and I love green. So I love these so far. I'm sure I'm gonna love using them. I use this kind of yarn, the Hobie cotton yarn, for all my amigurumi, so I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic. Oh, dinner's ready. Anyways, I just wanted to share, and on with the video. And that was the delivery of opening the different colors. I used the glow yarn for the body and everything, so he does glow in the dark, which is very fun. It's the glow yarn I bought from Michael's last week. If you are interested, go check that out. He will be a free pattern on my Patreon, which I'm hoping to put out this week, but you're watching the vlog, so keep on watching, see where I get with that. But I'm going to start putting free patterns on there. Not all of them, obviously. I will keep putting free video ones out. I'm having second thoughts about doing free patterns that are written. After consulting with some people, that sounds weird, after talking to some other crocheters, I should say, they have said that like people have stolen their free patterns and start selling them online, which is not something I want to get into. It's not something I really had considered before. So I think that free patterns will either be video tutorials, like the Maeve mouse one I did a couple weeks ago, and I have like things like Argy the spider, which I'm going to keep because people seem to like him. However, now I'm kind of worried about doing that kind of thing. So I might keep it to either just Patreon and then free video tutorials. I'm figuring this out as I go, obviously. I'm welcome to advice as to what you think, but I don't think there is really a right answer necessarily, but I'm going to do my best to figure it out because that's all we can do. So he will be a free pattern at some point. Maybe he'll be a video. I don't know. But I do want to work on my Patreon this week, and I have to build up a library of stuff on there to make it worth people's time to join whenever I'm ready to launch the Patreon thing. However, for now, let's focus on what we need to get done. So I want to draw the challenge this week, and like I said, I can't see. I'm just picking at random. I mean, I wrote them all, but see what we get. All right, this is a good one. Before I talk about it, I'm just going to say it is a little strange to say it maybe. I didn't really necessarily know that this would be in my top 10 or one of my favorite games of all time. However, when I think about like a game's longevity or what you can do, this is a game that like is fully creative. You can kind of make it be whatever you want, and I like that a lot. I'm very creative, so I like to build things. It's basically like digital Lego, which probably gives it away. It's Minecraft. So Minecraft, a lot of you have probably heard it. It's like $1 billion game. It's owned by Microsoft now. There's a lot to like about this game. Like I said, it's very creative. The world is never ending, so you can just keep exploring and you can build things and you can really just, like I said, make it whatever you want. So that is why it is in my top 10. I always go back to it over the years and play it for a bit and see what they changed, and I always like what they do with it, so I always have a fun time. Now, as far as picking one of the characters from it, I'm going to do a little search here. I have been including some of the searches and Pinterest stuff. I'm getting a little bit worried about copyright stuff because things are so finicky and they will try and ding you wherever they can, so I don't know if I'm going to show the Pinterest thing right this time. However, I do own this game on multiple consoles, so I should be able to film a little bit of it and put it in here while I'm talking, so hopefully that is happening. I am going to do a quick little search here just to see what we got as far as options. So right away I can see we have sheep, cows, goats, all the farm animals. Some more unique things like parrots, turtles, frogs, and capybara even, which are all a lot of fun. Now, most of you will know Minecraft, and you'll be looking at these and you'll be thinking, these do not look like Crochet. I think that'll be the biggest challenge, is everything is a square in Minecraft, and that's not exactly the easiest shape to get to in Crochet. You can get pretty close. I've made like Christmas gift boxes. I'm not sure if I have one in this room, but they are square, but they're not super square. The other option is to pick something that is super unique to Harvest Moon, because if I pick a sheep, the only thing that's going to make it a Minecraft sheep is if I make it cubed, which is, like I said, a little bit hard to do. Otherwise, it'll just look like a sheep, which could be from last week's challenge, which was Harvest Moon. So with that said, I was playing this game probably a year ago now, and they have updated a few things. One of those things was they have added some really unique creatures to this game. One of them is probably my favorite creature design I have seen in a very long time. I really like this character, so immediately I'm excited and drawn to it. It is a little bit harder to do, however, I think I kind of have to because it's so adorable, and that is something called a sniffer, which I'll explain the name in a second. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like a dinosaur crossed with a hippo, crossed with like a plant, I guess. He's kind of green and grassy, red and yellow. Lots of bright colors, which, as you can tell, I like my colors, so it kind of fits into the general Naughty Bear theme, if you will. The sniffer thing is because he sniffs out seeds that are like ancient seeds for flowers and stuff in the games. So flowers that were not previously in it, he will sniff out the seeds and then you can grow them. He's very cute and cuddly. I believe he's like the biggest passive mob in the game, so he's just kind of this huge weird dinosaur hippo thing that likes plants, which sounds amazing. Now with that said, as much as I want to pick the sniffer, and I'm going to, he is a little bit tricky because really he is square. He is very rectangular no matter what I do. So I'm going to have to incorporate some techniques here to make sure I'm getting those angles, and I think it'll be worth it though. I don't know if I can show some of the pictures I'm looking at, but there are a lot of like concept arts and things that people have done of him that I just love the look of, where the green is like leaves and he has plants coming off of him, and the red is like a shaggy sheep's fur. I kind of love that idea. I don't know how far I'll get along with it, but I'm excited to get into this. Make sure to stay to the end of the video to see how it turns out. I think it's going to be really cute, probably a little bit of a struggle, so I'm glad that I'm starting early so I can really, kind of sit with it and think about it. With that said, I'm going to plan the rest of my week now today, and then I will come back to you probably tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday. I'm excited to get this week started, so we're going to get into it in a moment here. Of course, I got another bad sleep, which is just a running theme lately. Won't get into it. It's usually allergy related for some reason. Anyways, I'm excited regardless to take on the day, but I will need a little bit of help from my caffeine sponsor, which is just coffee. But with that said, I want to get today started. I like to post a reel around noon on Mondays. Usually I have that edited. However, the one I was editing was for the Dougie pattern, which I have decided to post on Wednesday. So he will be coming out on Wednesday. That means I don't have anything planned for today. And what I'm thinking of doing is making another one of these little mushroom men that I made in the car the other day, because I posted on Instagram saying I do a free pattern and people really like this design. So I think what I'm going to do is make a reel for him, which means I have about 3 hours to make another one of these, edit the process, put it all together, and then post it. So I think that'll be enough time. He's pretty small. I'll work up pretty fast, especially since I know what I'm doing now because I have a pattern for it, at least, a written pattern for me. So that's what we're going to do for the next couple hours. While I'm doing that, I'll probably work on some other stuff. I have some website design stuff to do, so I'm going to do that on the side. And then after that, we have to start planning our sniffer, which I thought of a couple ways to do it. There's one where you work in the round just like you would with a circle, but in a rectangle fashion, which is a possibility. Also, you could build it in panels, so I could do like the top panel, then the sides, and then like sew them on together after, so it makes the square or rectangle, whatever shape you're doing. I think that would be fine for like the bigger pieces, like his body and his head, but when it gets to all his feet and his like tail and all that, I think that's just a little bit much. So I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. I really do want to do some kind of like leaf texture on the body, which is giving me flashbacks to 2 weeks ago when we did Glomer and I decided to do a fur texture, and that took a really long time. But again, I think it would just be really cute if he had those little like leaves coming off the top of his body, because that's what it's supposed to be, like moss, I guess, or whatever. So apparently I did not learn my lesson from 2 weeks ago, because now I'm already thinking of ways to make this more complicated. We'll see where we get to. I think he's gonna be a little bit smaller than the other two I've done, but who knows. This morning I woke up early, so I figured I'd work on my temperature blanket, and I got 3 or 4 rows done of that. There's a lot of like this nice kind of like sunflower yellow and like cranberry colors right now, which even though it's technically in July, it's the first week of July I'm in, so I'm catching up slowly but surely. It's summer colors, but they actually look more fall, which is nice because technically it is fall right now. I think when I actually get to the fall part of the temperature blanket, it'll start to be more like blues and stuff because it's colder, which makes me wonder if I were to do another one of these, would I want to change up the rules so that it was more like seasonal colors somehow, as opposed to just temperature, because the temperature can be like blue for winter, kind of blues and stuff, but then when it gets to fall, I don't really think of blues. Anyways, I'm sure there are lots of different ways to make a temperature blanket, but I'm not going to go on too much about that because I've talked about it a lot in the past. So temperature blanket is done for the day. That is nice. I do want to post a YouTube short, which will probably be some version of the reel I'm posting, because there are different people on different apps. For those of you who have been watching the past couple weeks, you'll know I keep mentioning that I want to work on my website and the Patreon, which I have a little bit, but not nearly as much as I want to. So I really need to put a focus on that, because those are very important things that I need to get done. So we're going to focus on those things right after I focus on making another tiny little mushroom man. I think I'm going to do them out of some like a brown or like a mushroom orange, maybe some kind of color. We'll see. I'm about to do something that'll make most of you cringe, including myself, but I do not have time to sew these on right now because I need it for a video. So we are going to hot glue on some spots, which, yeah, we're just not gonna talk about it. Nobody needs to know. And look at that. Like I said, I would never normally do this. No judgment to anyone that does. I prefer to sew, but it does take a lot more time. So we're just gonna glue these today, and don't tell anyone. So it's just about lunchtime now. I ended up making a little second mushroom sprite, and he's very cute, the little brown one. I still think I like the multicolored one more, but they're both very cute. I'll post the reel that I made as well while making him, and it glows in the dark, so it shows that, which is neat. So overall, very happy with that. And then I did some actual real life work stuff, some web design stuff, so that was good. Now that's out of the way, I'm going to go enjoy some lunch. Dante made a delicious soup on the weekend, so I'm going to go have some of that. And then when I come back, I'm hoping to get some actual work done on the website and the Patreon, my own website. I know I've said that a million times, but we're going to actually do that. And of course, there's always social media stuff to make. It never ends. And then I also have to think about the sniffer and what I want to do. I think as long as I can like pick one of these yarns, or the yarns I want to use rather, and just kind of figure out the general techniques I want to use, that'll be a good start. And I could probably work a little bit on tonight. We'll see. I had to look through my yarn scraps because if you're like me, you have a lot of scraps to use. So I picked out the closest I could get to all the colors I need. So for the body, we're doing this red. For the top, we're going to do this teal color. Technically, he's just a little bit more green, but I think this will just be more fun than the greens I have. It's pretty close. His feet are actually purple. They look black, but they're like a dark purple. And then his face or nose or whatever is this yellow color. I really like these color combos together. I think he's gonna be a lot of fun. He's gonna be tiny but mighty and super cute. I do want to do some kind of textured, but nothing too crazy for the leaf part because I do want it to look like moss still. So I haven't fully decided on what I want to do there. At least for now, we have the yarn and the colors picked out, so we can get started on the sniffer whenever I get to it, hopefully soon. I think one of the techniques I want to use is kind of build him almost like he's like a Christmas present box with a lid kind of thing, because he is rectangular. He has like a green top and a red bottom. I think because I've done this before, I can kind of just adjust that as needed and build it kind of the same way. So I'm going to try that first. So here's the Christmas present I was talking about that I crocheted already. So I think I'm going to follow the same design because it's square enough anyways. So it's much later. I just got back in from a walk with Cypress. And while I was out there, I was thinking about this whole sniffer body box thing. And I realized that I probably cannot use this method for the body because his body is like a rectangle, not a square. And this only works with squares. I'm sure there's probably a way to make it work. However, I can't think of one right now. I'm just happy I didn't get started. So what I'm going to just do is build basically like sheets that I'll do the top and the sides on one sheet, and then that'll fold to make the top and sides, obviously. And then I'll make these two separately just to build the box, and then I'll do the same for the bottom. And that'll be it for the body. And then for the rest of him, his feet and his nose, those are squares. So I think I can actually still use this method. So with that said, I am actually finally going to get started. I'm just going to work a little bit on the body part, the teal part, tonight. So I'm going to start that, and then I will probably go to bed, and I will see you tomorrow. I always feel like I have so much to say when I'm not filming and I'm just sitting thinking about it. And then as soon as I turn on the camera, I completely forget all the things I want to talk about. However, here we are. I am working on the temperature blanket, obviously, and I'm doing well with my progress on that. So I'm trying to do 2 or 3 rows a day. It is getting ridiculously long. I feel like when I show it off at the end of the year, I'm gonna have to like stand at the top of the house because it's just so long to get it all on camera. However, I am proud with the fact that I've been able to keep up so far. I think I'll be able to maybe catch up to current day sometime in November. I think if my math is correct, maybe a little bit sooner depending on how many rows I do every day. However, I'm really liking the colors right now. These are actually the summer colors, like I said, but they look kind of more fall. And then obviously there's like the blues from the winter and and the greens from the spring. It's ginormous. So it's going to be almost twice the size. Not quite. I'm past halfway. Anyways, that's enough about the temperature blanket. Last night I did work a little bit on the sniffer body. So let me show you that. It doesn't look like much now. Essentially, I've just done like a panel, but then I did some like front loops so that folds into a square, making it, or a rectangle rather, but it kind of folds. I might have to do some kind of like boning to make it like more angular, or I might try blocking it and see how that goes, because right now it's pretty wavy, as you can see, but you can kind of get the idea of what I'm doing. For the back, I'm going to just attach the yarn here, and then I'll crochet down and then just sew the sides together. So that's where we are with our sniffer. So progress has been made. Tomorrow I'm going to announce my pumpkin Dougie scarecrow pattern finally. I know it's late in the season, but it took me a while to get him together for some reason, even though he's not a full pattern. But I have the pattern all done. I'm going to finish the Etsy post and then my reels and all that good stuff for tomorrow. So I want to get all that done so it's just ready to go. I'm very excited for him. So if you're watching this, he is out on my Etsy shop. So that's very exciting. He's one of my favorite crochet patterns ever, even though he's technically just like an add-on of the Dougie pattern. I love the way he looks. So very excited about him. Speaking of my Etsy shop, I do want to revive it a little bit. I've noticed since I've come back from vacation, I had to take some of the physical stuff off my shop. And when I put it back, it just didn't have the traction that it did before. And I've been watching some other YouTubers on this topic, and they say sometimes when you take it down, it loses its like status with Etsy because it hasn't been making sales. So they say the best thing to do is to like upload new photos and change the description a little bit, just kind of revive it a bit. I don't think making a full new listing is needed. I don't think it'll help either because this one has really good reviews and everything, and I've worked really hard on the listing, so I'm trying to just zhuzh it up a little bit. We'll see. I was getting like a few every day, every other day orders, and I have had one since I came back, which is like 2 or 3 weeks ago, of just the stickers. So definitely something's up there. I had to figure out what to do there. It's an ongoing process. Etsy is very finicky as always. So, and today I have to work on the Patreon and the website today. No matter what, I have to get those going. I mean, Patreon I've already gotten pretty far on. I just want to tighten it up. I am hoping to launch at the end of the week, maybe start of next week. We'll see. And then the website's always an ongoing thing, but I'm paying for that monthly, so I need to actually make sure it's being worked on all the time. I don't know why I pulled out my temperature blanket and then continued to just talk. I do that a lot where I just stop crocheting and look at the camera. Yeah, so I'm just going to sit here and finish up my rows, and then I'll take Sipe for his W. I won't say the word because he's behind me. And then we'll get our day going. I really wanted to record some video out here because it's beautiful. And as you can probably hear, we have school kids out, we have construction, we have an ambulance, and we have a car making a lot of noise over there. I tried, but it is beautiful out here. I just saw an Instagram post and someone was saying that Hobbii put out another new yarn. I don't need another yarn. This is like a Chanel one. I just want to look at it. I'm not even sure where to look. I would assume it would have been on the front page. This. Okay, let's take a look. Toucan Sprinkle, which I don't know if you can see it. I'll maybe record this. Looks like there are 10 colors, and I'm assuming it has sprinkle in it. This purple right away looks really pretty. Let me just make sure that I am recording this. I really like the look of this purple one. Let's look at all the colors. So there's 10 colors, like I said. Orange zest, pink currant, raspberry, plum, blueberry, gooseberry, dragon fruit, and blackberry. Let's look at blackberry. Okay, pretty. Let's look at them all. I still think that purple one is probably my favorite. I don't need this, but I'm sure there are lots of you out there. Ooh, I do like this one. I do not need to buy more yarn. We are fine. But some of you might like this. I'll make sure to leave a link below for it. It does look very pretty. Let me know what you think if you do get it. I've been working on these little illustrations for the Patreon tiers. They're just like little images that go above each tier. And I thought for the first one, it would just be called A Light Stuff, which is like stuffing of the bears. We're all adults here. So light stuffing. And then I did a second one for the good stuffing, which is like the Knotty bear little guy. Again, they're going to be really small and they're just quick. I'll update them again one day. Probably. And then this is the last one. I can't remember where I named it. I think Perfect Stuffing or something. Anyways, with all his bees and everything, his honey, he's happy. So I think those are cute. They're good enough for now anyways. So I'm going to export these and add them to the Patreon. For those of you who are interested in the Patreon, here is the first exclusive look at the Patreon page. There's not much to see yet, but I have my cute little banner and a photo of me. And then I just have the little illustrations for each tier that we just did. I'll update them one day, but they're good enough for now. So I have my little tiers here. For those of you who don't know what Patreon is, I won't go into it too much in detail, but essentially it's just another way to support your favorite artists, and you get member benefits depending on the different tier that you pick. So for example, the first one is more of just like a basic, like, hey, I want to buy you a coffee every month, or I just want to support your business journey, which I really appreciate. and you will have access to the Patreon, which could have videos and posts, and you'll have access to a Discord when it comes up. But like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about this right now because I don't plan on officially launching it until probably end of the week, maybe start of next week. It will be live as of now. I'm actually going to put it live. I'm not going to mention it anywhere just because I'm still adding stuff. I don't want people to come here and sign up and be like, there's nothing here. I am going to get to it. It's also the place I'll be posting the patterns for copywritten things like these video game characters I'm making. They will be extremely bare bones. They will just be literally the crochet pattern, how to make it, maybe a couple photos, but that's it. I don't want people to be able to like steal it and sell it as a different pattern or get any kind of issues with copyright laws. So they'll be there for free for anyone who's part of the Patreon in the top 2 tiers. This one's like a buy me coffee. You won't have access to it, but it's all in the description there. But anyways, to anyone who joins my Patreon, just know I am forever grateful. Thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate you. And I can't wait to see what we build in this little community. Anyways, with that said, it's around lunchtime, so I'm gonna go have some lunch and then go work out, and I'll come back later. Quick update on the sniffer body. I have closed up the ends. So I think before when I showed you, I had done the top and the sides, and then I basically built this end off of this piece here. Same with this side, and then flipped it down and sewed the corners, if that makes sense, to make the square. If I pull it, it does look pretty square, so I'm happy with that. I might have to do some kind of boning or something inside. I don't know. We'll see how it looks once I get it stuffed and everything. So right now tonight, I'm just gonna work a couple more layers of this red, and then to close it, I'm gonna do the same thing where I'll just work off of this one end and build a panel that goes all the way and then sew the long ends together. And then that'll be the body done. And then tomorrow I can start the legs or the face. We shall see, but that's good enough for tonight. I am going to do a couple more things before bed and then go to bed. I'll see you later. So it's much later in the day. I haven't filmed anything yet, and that's because I've just been doing other things and I haven't been focused on filming. One of the things I did was release the Dougie Pumpkin Scarecrow finally, so that's very exciting. He is now out in the wild. You can go purchase him on my Etsy. Please let me know if you do. I really hope this pattern does well. I mean, it's a little late in the season for Halloween, but I really love this design. You never know with pattern sales. They're very volatile. Depends what Etsy shows as well to the customers, so who knows? But as always, share your photos and tag me in whatever you make. One of the other reasons I haven't filmed too much today is because I was editing this video. I was like, girl, you've been talking a lot. And the video is pretty long, so I've been editing that down. And I want to keep it around half an hour. There are 2 types of people that watch my video. The first one is like maybe people that know me. There's some friends and family that watch this, or people that just want to like catch up. That maybe they don't crochet or anything. They're just seeing how I'm doing. So those types of people, I think, want things to be like a little bit more succinct and clear, which makes sense because they don't want to sit there forever and watch a video of me doing crochet stuff. However, there are also people like myself who love putting on these videos in the background while they work or craft or do whatever. And those videos are better to be longer because you have to go looking around for new videos and stuff. If they're longer, you could just leave them on. You might not even watch the whole video. You kind of like leave while it's on and come back and stuff. So I'm like that too. Anyways, I think half an hour seems to be like somewhere around there is like the magic number for most people. And you could always come back and watch it. But we'll see how we do with this one. There's a lot of updates and a lot of things going on in this video. I wanted to film a little bit today because we're actually going out later. We are going to see Bob the Drag Queen. A lot of you will probably know who that is. We're very excited. It was a very last minute decision. Dante got a little raise at work and we wanted to go celebrate. And we were watching YouTube and Bob was talking about his tour. This was yesterday and we literally Googled it and he had like 5 tickets to his show tonight. So we were like, let's go. So we bought some tickets and we're gonna go see him, which is very exciting because he's hilarious. We really do love Bob the Drag Queen. So we're excited for that, but that means I won't be able to film as much tonight. So I'm gonna update you on the sniffer real quick. So here is our sniffer. You can see I have them all in pieces. The body actually turned out pretty well. I'm actually not too mad at this. I think if I were to do it again, I might find a way to do it like this, where it's built in one piece. However, I think for being panels, it turned out pretty well. So that's the body, the head, and then his little footsies. So these actually work up really quick. So I'm just gonna make 6 of those. Well, technically only 5.5 more. And then for the body, I'm probably gonna regret this, but I do wanna add like little foliage leaves here onto the front loops, which I don't know if I should do that. I'm probably gonna regret it, but we'll see how it goes. So I think he would look really cute with like little leaves dangling off. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this progress. I'll get the feet done today, which means pretty much all the pieces are done. And then I just need to add the details to his face and sew him up. So we're doing pretty good. Also, because I love adding things to my never-ending list of things to do, I'm considering like taking all new photos on my Etsy products, just because they've updated things and now everything should be on like a clear or white background. A lot of my stuff is in color because it's like my brand, but I'm thinking to drive products and stuff, I might have to change it, which means I have to take photos of everything, which I'm not super hyped about, but I would like to get more flow and more traffic to the site again. I've been really struggling with that since the last update, which a lot of people seem to be doing. This is a whole nother thing why I want to do my own website, but again, that comes with its own things as well because you have to drive stuff to there. Anyways, as I said, this video is long enough, so I might not even share this, but those are just things that are going around my head. There's something about this time of year where it's a little bit colder, but the sun's out and the leaves are barely hanging on. That makes me want to have like a campfire outside. I don't know if it'll happen because I turned our campfire into a water fountain last year, which I still have the base for it, so I could technically maybe make it work. We'll see. But I love this time of year where it's a little bit chilly but not cold. Everything's beautiful and the sun's out.
Now we have 4 in row 9 and 1 in row 10. Then it's 14 front post single crochet around row 11. So we find our next stitch around in row 10 and we move up a row to row 11, which I feel so proper with my mic actually hooked up the proper way. Hopefully it sounds okay. Excuse the strange lighting setup. I've been filming something on the table, so I have all my lights facing down. But I have been working on the sniffer a little bit, and I want to show you with a little progress update. And I gotta say, I'm really happy with the way this has turned out so far. I'm still gonna add details and stuff, but all the parts are done and assembled, and I just think he looks so adorable. So there he is so far. I think the colors help. I love primary colors and bright colors, so this is right up my alley. But I think the details have just turned out really nice. He's so cute. Look how adorable. I'm so happy with the way he's turning out. He's so little but mighty, and look at all the fun colors. I like that I made him splayed out with all his legs kind of going out as opposed to like standing. I think it just gives him even more character. I still want to do some kind of like leaves or moss on the back here. I don't know how many I'm going to get done, but I have to say so far out of the 3, this is definitely my favorite that we've done so far. So very happy with the way it is turning out. I'm going to put that aside, however, for now because I've been doing that for a couple hours. I need to focus on other things. As always, the day is flying by. I have so many other things on my list to do. Last night, like I said, we went and saw Bob the Drag Queen, who's a comedian, and it was great. It was hilarious. It's a little bit of a hassle, mostly for Dante because he's driving to get in and out of the city because we actually don't live in Toronto. We live outside of it. I guess we went down around 7 and the traffic was crazy. We use Waze, which really helps get us in and out because it was just crazy. I don't know how people do it every day. Thankfully, neither of us are city people really, so we don't go down very often. Just when things like this happen every once in a while, we'll go and see a show or whatever's happening. As for the rest of the day, I really wanted to go outside and do a little fire, but it's just not going to happen. I have too many things to get done, so I might settle and just go for a little bit of a walk. And then I have my Shopify site open and looking at me, so I'm going to start adding listings there. So that's what we're going to do for now, and then we will check back in with you all later. And just like that, it is Friday. If you're watching this on upload day and you've made it this far in the video, I know it's been a long one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have some exciting weekend plans coming up, or at the very least, you can get some crafts or crochet done. I will be doing some yard work, unfortunately, because we woke up and it was frost this morning. The white stuff is coming, unfortunately, so I just have to clean up the yard, get it ready for next year. Not my favorite thing to do, but we have to get ready for the winter season because it'll be here before you know it, unfortunately. However, with all of that said, I know you're eagerly waiting. Chris, show us the finished sniffer, and I'm going to show him to you in just a second. I just want to say that unfortunately, I did not get him 100% finished. I was worried about this because of all those leaf details, which is what I was talking about earlier. I just didn't have the time to put them all on. However, I did get like maybe half done, so you can see him from one side and he looks really cute. I'm definitely going to finish it on the weekend or next week. I'm still going to call this a success because he looks amazing and he will be finished very shortly, which I know none of you are holding me accountable for. It's all me. So I'm giving myself an extension on this one. I'm mostly giving myself an A+. I actually really like this design. I'll put some footage in here so you can see what I'm talking about, and I think he just looks really great. I love the details, the colors, and that texture just adds another layer. It also hides a lot of the edges and stuff in that body, which I wasn't a huge fan of,
and I'm really excited to just finish it all the way. I think he's gonna be even more adorable. But as always, let me know in the comments below what you think. Would you make a sniffer of your own if I created a pattern? If enough of you ask, I will make sure to get that pattern out ASAP. Like I said, I love him. I think he's adorable. So that is the challenge completed for the week. Yay me. I'm giving myself an A+ because I make the rules, not you. I'm sure a lot of you would also give me an A+, hopefully. Now with the sniffer looking cute and out of my way, I'm going to move on to some work for the day. I want to announce the Halloween bundle. So it's going to be all my Halloween patterns in one, plus a couple little free extras. So that will be on my Etsy shop. I think I'm also going to put Halloween stuff on a discount starting today for the week because it is the last week of October, so Halloween is coming. So look out for those sales. If you're looking for a little bit of a deal, check out my Etsy shop. I'll put the link below. And then I'll move on to working on the other stuff I have to do today. Wishing I was playing Minecraft instead, but thankfully it's Friday. I might get to play it a little bit this weekend. Who knows? We will see. Anyways, I don't want to keep you any longer than I already have. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to anyone who likes, comments, or subscribes. It really does mean the world to me. And as always, stay naughty, friends. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.